what you need to know before you file the LLC. You do have to provide notice to your customers that you're an LLC. So a lot of times you'll find people on social media, they just have their social media handle, they just have their business name. However, if you go to anybody's website, it should be, if they're an LLC or a corporation, at the very bottom in the footer, it'll say ABC LLC or Legalpreneur Inc. That's what's at the bottom of the legalpreneur.com. That is providing notice to your customers or to your clients. Also in your contracts, it has the full business name. And if you have a DBA, let's say your LLC is ABC LLC, but the public views you as XYZ, your contract should say ABC LLC DBA XYZ. I know that's a lot of letters in there, but hopefully you catch my drift. Welcome to the Legalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Sager, founder and CEO of Legalpreneur Inc. As a serial entrepreneur and someone that works exclusively with small business owners legally protecting their business, I'm dedicated to covering common legal issues faced by business owners, providing you with the business knowledge you need to catapult your business's growth and showing you just how some of the world's most elite entrepreneurs have handled these legal and business issues themselves. In true attorney fashion, the information in this episode is not legal advice. This is for informational purposes only, and you should always consult with your attorney before implementing any of the information in the show. Beautiful, beautiful holidays. Some well-needed time off. I had the most beautiful vacation and the most beautiful holidays with my children, my family. Everything was just absolutely amazing. But even though I had some amazing and much needed time off, I am so happy to be kicking off 2023 and the first podcast episode of the year. Today, we're going to be covering, of course, one of my favorite and one of the most important topics for business owners is filing an LLC. Specifically, we are going to be covering 5 things you should know before filing an LLC. As a quick reminder, the Legalpreneur book is coming out at the end of this month. I am so excited. It's been a labor of love, and Legalpreneur, the business owner's guide to legally protecting your business, will finally be in your hands. If you have not already pre-ordered your copy, get to it now. The actual price of the hardcover book will be more than the pre-sale price. And if you are getting in on the pre-sale price, you actually get over $2,000 in bonuses. So run, don't walk, go get the Legalpreneur book right now while it's still on pre-order. So if you don't already have an LLC, or maybe you do and you're thinking about filing a new LLC for a different business or a different revenue stream, these are all things you need to make sure you're considering, and just make sure you're aware of these things so that way you don't lose your LLC protection. So it's the new year. I know there are many, many people thinking about starting a business. They're finally starting that business. They're probably operating as a sole proprietor or a DBA. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you're not an LLC, you should be. I've done many episodes on this, but you should be an LLC, but I want to make sure that you're aware of what you need to know before actually filing the LLC. Okay, number one thing you need to know about actually filing is there's 3 different ways to get it done. I'm going to run through those. The first way is to DIY, do it yourself. This is going to be the most cost-effective option because you don't have to pay any additional fees. You're just doing it. You're just putting in the work, doing the service yourself. That's your cheapest option, most cost-effective. Second level is working with a third party. This can be Legalpreneur. It can also be a company like LegalZoom. If you Google cheap LLC filing, it's all those third parties that come up, like InkFile, Zen Business, all of those companies. That is who is actually the third parties. Also, like I said, Legalpreneur. Just to give you a range, we charge $250 plus your state filing fees, and that covers the filing, your EIN number, and all the necessary documents to get you properly up and running. Other companies, they have different fees. I can't tell you what all of them are, but that's going to be your second option as far as getting the LLC filed. And then the third option is working directly with an attorney. Now, if you're a single member LLC, that means you're the sole owner, or if it's you and your spouse in a community property state, if you don't really have questions about filing the LLC, I personally wouldn't say like, hey, yeah, you should go pay all that money to work directly with an attorney, because the third party filing it or DIYing perfectly fine. However, if you have questions, if there's more than one owner involved, that's when I think you definitely should be filing with an attorney, because there's a lot of questions that you probably want and need answered. Now, number 2, you have to pay a filing fee. Now, you heard me say our fees, legalpreneurs fees for filing the LLC, $250 plus your filing fees. There's going to be a fee regardless. Even if you DIY, do it yourself, you are going to have to pay the state filing fee. Some states do have exceptions to this where you can get around it. Typically, it's for veterans, or sometimes it's if you're very, very low income. Every state's different. Some states don't have them at all. Some states do have them for limited circumstances. So you can definitely check your state if you're worried about the filing fee. And they vary from $50 to $500 plus. Yeah, I think like Massachusetts, I want to say, is $500. And then, of course, in California, we have the franchise tax, which is $800 every year. And that's not actually the filing fee, but a lot of people think, oh, to file in California, you have to pay $800. You only have to pay $90 actually to file in California. But the annual fee there is $800. So don't get those confused. But no matter what, you're most likely going to have a state filing fee. Most likely, you're not going to be able to get around it. Okay, so number 3, you must have a registered agent. This is somebody that you appoint to be the appointed person for your official mail. No matter what state you're in, every state requires a registered agent. Now, it can be you. You don't have to have a third party be the registered agent. At Legalpreneur, you can pay for us to be the registered agent. We charge $150 every year, and we are responsible for your mail. We send it to you anytime we get something in the mail. And typically it's not much mail, but if you're ever to get sued, the registered agent is the one that's actually getting served the lawsuit. It's not you, the business owner. It is the registered agent. So if the government's trying to send you official documents or the IRS, it's going to your registered agent. Again, it can be you. You don't have to use a third party, pay a third party. It can absolutely be you. But if you're somebody that travels a lot, or if you don't want to be responsible for that mail, then I would definitely pay a third party to be your registered agent. Now, number 4, you must have a business bank account. I'm sure you've heard of piercing the corporate veil. Maybe you haven't, but piercing the corporate veil, it is a doctrine that basically means, okay, so as an LLC, you have this veil of protection on you. That means that you personally cannot be sued for the debts of your company. And that's why it's so important to have this LLC. However, this veil of protection can be pierced. That means if you don't maintain the requirements of your LLC and you get sued, the court can say, actually, you don't get this protection because you have not treated it like an LLC. In order to avoid piercing the corporate veil, the number one way it gets pierced is by not having a business bank account and by commingling funds. So if you just commingle your personal and business funds, most likely if you get sued, they're going to be piercing the corporate veil. You don't want that to happen. So always, 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 it is a requirement to have a separate business bank account and make sure you are not actually commingling funds. Everything is being properly accounted for with an accountant or a bookkeeper. Now, I've had people ask, well, can I just have a separate personal bank account? No, you need to have an actual business bank account. It's sometimes you don't have to pay anything for it. Find a local bank if you don't want to pay any fees. I know like Chase or Capital One, bigger banks, they do have a monthly fee a lot of the times, but I am working on finding a good partner, but wait for that. It's not here yet. So make sure once you have the LLC, you do have a business bank account. Now, number 5, what you need to know before you file the LLC. You do have to provide notice to your customers that you're an LLC. So a lot of times you'll find people on social media, they just have their social media handle, they just have their business name. However, if you go to anybody's website, it should be, if they're an LLC or a corporation, at the very bottom in the footer, it'll say ABC LLC or Legalpreneur Inc. That's what's at the bottom of the legalpreneur.com. That is providing notice to your customers or to your clients. Also in your contracts, it has the full business name. And if you have a DBA, let's say your LLC is ABC LLC, but the public views you as XYZ, your contract should say ABC LLC, DBA XYZ. I know that's a lot of letters in there, but hopefully you catch my drift. Now, always give notice to your customers. Sometimes on social media, I'll see like the handle with LLC in it. You don't have to do that. Only when they're purchasing. They have to know who they're actually purchasing from. That's why when you have the terms and conditions on your website, make sure in the terms and conditions it says the full business name, including the LLC in it. And the reason is because customers have to make an educated decision of, okay, I know they're an LLC. I can't personally go after them. Do I still want to purchase from this business? And typically, like, it's not something that customers are actively thinking of, but the courts say like this is what has to happen. So always make sure that you are providing notice to your customers somehow that you are an LLC. And then it can just say, ABC Limited or LLC. You can have the periods. You don't have to. You can, if you're a corporation, you can put corporation, corp, Inc., any variation thereof. You have to provide some notice to your customers. Okay, I know we ran through this really quickly, but make sure you are aware of these things when you are filing the LLC. And even before, make sure you're maintaining all of the requirements of the LLC. If you need help with your LLC filing, just go to thelegalpreneur.com. We can file it for you. $250 plus your state filing fees. If you would like us to be your registered agent, we can do that as well. You all, I am so excited for 2023. There are great things to come for Legalpreneur, and I know there are great things to come for you. I am so happy that you are listening. And if you're a continued listener, I'm so happy to have you. I'm so glad that you've stayed with us for however long you've been listening. And let's make 2023 the most amazing year ever. Shout me out on Instagram, screenshot this episode. Let me know which one of the 5 did you not know about? Or if you knew all of them, shout me out and say, thank you so much. I actually knew all of these, or I knew nothing. Let me know which was your favorite, which surprised you the most. Let me know. I want to celebrate you. I want to share you on Instagram, and I will see you next time.